Hi everybody, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we're watching episodes 46 and 47. Last episode, we actually ended off on a pretty upbeat note. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since that's how we ended an episode, but, you know, after watching the cool fight with Ishida, after, seeing everybody kind of be sort of in a relatively safe place considering what's been going on for the last few episodes, it really feels like we're kind of, just letting me take a deep breath before things get really intense again, especially since I know that this whole Soul Society arc ends at like episode 63, so we're definitely getting to like the last half, like the last quarter of what this whole arc is gonna be, and there's so much stuff that has been set up that I know not all of it is gonna be concluded because obviously there's more show, and you guys have pointed out that like some of the stuff that is brought up now that I'm like asking questions about, I'm gonna have to wait for later arcs, but there are definitely some things that are being set up that are like deliberately going to be addressed for this arc. So it's very exciting, and because I have no certain idea of what is going to be addressed in the next few episodes, I'm relatively upbeat about it. I'm like, yeah, let's watch some Bleach because it hasn't crushed my soul yet. So let's summarize some of the key things that I think are going to be in this episode. So we definitely, I want to leave the whole thing with Ishida and Mayuri and their fight because I feel like Mayuri's kind of down for the count for a little bit. He has liquefied himself somehow and is going to be stuck in that form for a little while. So we've kind of like put him off to the side of like needing to deal with that. But the only thing I really want to take from that is that Ishida may or may not have lost his powers as a Quincy. I really don't know, especially since he's injured at the moment and also like locked up, and like because of the way that the Soul Society makes those like jails and like the constraints that they have like on their wrists, it suppresses their abilities. So I really don't know how to gauge where he's at from that standpoint. I feel like it's definitely going to damage his abilities in terms of like, I think of it like short-circuiting it, right? Like if you put too much power into a circuit, it just like, it breaks without going into too technical about like how technology works. But like, it's like if your computer is plugged in and turned on, and then like you have like a power surge, like power goes out, and it can like fry your whole computer because of that surge of power. I think of it like that, where like he has so much power that was like pumping through him in that short amount of time that I feel like it's gonna ruin some of the like circuitry of how it works, especially since we saw him use those like threads where he was like taking the different streams of his spirit energy. It's like a special technique for Quincy's that he'd mastered to allow him to use his arm even though he couldn't use it. So he was using these threads to be able to move his arm. I don't know how that's going to work out too. I don't know if they can like repair the damage that Mayuri's Senpakuto did to his arm, but right now we have Ishida, Ganju, and Shadow all locked up in the same place, and they've basically come to the conclusion that if anybody wanted them dead, they wouldn't have healed them and like tucked them away in this jail. They're gonna kind of stay still and heal and be ready for Ichigo when he shows up. Orihime is with Zeraki and Ikage, Squad 11. She's with them at the moment, and Zeraki wants to keep her because he's also of the mind that Ichigo will come to get his friends. So he wants to fight Ichigo again to kind of prove himself, or at least have fun with it, because he finds a lot of joy in the challenge of a good fight. So there's kind of that confrontation set up. I don't know if they'll like full on fight again, because there's some other fights that are being kind of set up at the moment, but I do think that they'll have to come to some kind of understanding or agreement or some kind of confrontation because he has Orihime. And of course we have Ichigo, the man himself, who is currently trying to master his Bankai. So we saw a Bankai, we saw Mayuri's Bankai, and it's like, it's not what I was expecting, because the releases that we had seen before from Zanpakuto, they were like versions of the sword itself. Like, they were changing their design, changing the way that they worked in terms of like boosting a certain attribute of their ability. Whereas the Bankai is like a whole like creature that has been summoned forth to like be a part of the battle. Like, the thing that came out of Mayuri's was like this huge caterpillar thing. I don't even know, but we've kind of seen a little snippet of what a Bankai might be, and I am so excited to see some more of them because they look like they'll be so interesting, and they'll each be like a unique manifestation of like each fighter's like own abilities and like personality and what techniques they choose, like they prefer to use. So very excited. Ichigo is currently working with Yoruichi to unlock his, so he has manifested a like physical form for his Zanpakuto, which we've seen what the spirit of his Zanpakuto looks like a couple of times at this point. And now he has to bring it into submission, conquer it, claim that power. So we're in this big kind of field of swords, which we've been seeing at the opener for a while, and Ichigo has to find the one that's actually the true form of the Zanpakuto, and I don't think it's one that we've seen before, partly because that seems like it's too obvious and straightforward, but also because that Ichigo's Zanpakuto was already in the first release, so I don't know if that means that like there's a previous form that like it should take and then it's released and that's like the form that we currently have seen, or if it's more of like a deeper meaning of what is the Zanpakuto in terms of like from Zangetsu's personality and like who that he is like a spirit, or they are as a spirit, because I don't know if gender is necessarily applicable here, or like how Ichigo fights or like how he sees his Zanpakuto. And it has like this whole resolve to fight kind of mixed into how, like what it represents. So I'm not sure what the actual true form will look like, but I definitely feel like Ichigo needs to pull out some like tricks and like dig deeper than just like picking up the closest sword and seeing if it will actually work against Zangetsu, which is what he's doing at the moment. He's just kind of running around and picking up random swords and hoping that they're the right one, which is very Ichigo in character, but probably isn't the most efficient, especially since they only have 3 days to make this work, because then they gotta go fight Byakuya, which I want to touch on for a quick second. I've already been talking for so long, but there's so much and I don't know what's going to be applicable anymore. So Renji we saw was really trying to figure out what his drive was, what his purpose was, now that he's feeling all of this conflict about like how he fits into the Soul Society, whether he wants to fit into the Soul Society. He knows that he wants to help Rukia, but the Soul Society is saying that he shouldn't want to help her, and he's kind of feeling all of this guilt and mixture of emotions and thoughts and inner conflict. So we were seeing him really struggle with that while he was incarcerated and healing from his injuries. And he seems to have come to some kind of conclusion because he's broken out of his cell and has gone forth back out into the Soul Society. And before he did that, we saw an image of Byakuya, which we know he has been both very antagonistic to Rukia's case, even though they are adopted family, and also he was the one who said that Renji should be locked up for what he did. So there's definitely some antagonistic feelings there, and I feel like maybe Arenchi's going to confront him in some way. I don't know exactly how that will escalate, but I'm hoping it doesn't, because Byakyo's a really strong fighter, and I don't want Renji to get hurt again. He's just gotten better. And I want him to take a minute and breathe and think it through, okay? Yeah. And then at the very, very last few seconds of the last episode, we saw Hinamori have a very, determined look on her face. We saw the piece of paper with all the stuff that Aizen left for her in her hand. She looks very much like she's a plan. She's a woman on a mission. And I know that she's definitely the kind of person to, go after what she wants and get things done, because she has picked a fight with basically anybody who got in her way in the past. So it looks like a lot of things are kind of coming to a head, and we saw in the preview that we're getting a little bit more backstory on the lieutenants and some of the captains. So let's just get into episode 46. In 3, 2, 1, go. I've been told that I might need my Totoro again. Soon. He's here. Or it's here. I guess Totoro doesn't really have a gender. Within reach. So whatever happens, Totoro's got my back. How's Rukia doing? We haven't seen her since she, passed out on the bridge. And I know that her captain was saying that he was gonna try and get her removed from the tower that's, suppressing her access to soul energy. I don't know. Forgot to talk about how Hanataro is getting, punished for helping them. There's too much, guys. I can't... I already got to the point where I talk for, 15 minutes, and I have to, compress information. So... Okay. Let's do this. Is it Tiny Renji? Oh dear. Yes. He broke. Oh no, it's older Renji! Who are we fighting? I forgot about that too! About Gin saying that he was gonna help Kira, even though, because Kira was having a crisis in his cell, was wrecking stuff all over the place. There's so much! Aizen! What did you know that was worth killing you over? Cutie! Aww. You're so sweet. We're sleeping in a tree? love that we're getting some, like, what it's actually like to be at the academy. Wow. So, Rukia didn't make it into the advanced class? Did she do that on purpose? Like, she doesn't want to show off how good she is? Or just got nervous? Ooh, good shot! Nice! Don't be antagonistic. Make friends. He's nice. Come on, MD. I believe in you. Oop. That's not quite. Oh. Oh no. Oh, hun. Oh no. Oh, don't be antagonistic, make friends. Alright, my mom mode got unlocked there for a second. Hey! Sorry. But he's so sweet, you should make friends with him. See? Should help each other out. Is that why they were practicing sparring before when we saw them in the woods? Because Renji was better at than Kira? What are we looking at? Someone impressive? Someone gonna hoist Hinamori so she can see? Ah, Eisen. Gin. Oops. So this was before Gin became a captain? I'm assuming from the outfit. Were they part of the same, like, soul family thing where they, like, make groups together? It kind of explains why Shira, I think is his name, is so protective of her and why he's, like, getting involved with, like, the drama that's happening with the captains and stuff. Oh! Is that where she learned that from? I think he's adjusted. Oh. Mm-hmm. Isn't he? I don't know if he's a captain. Maybe he's a lieutenant now. I recognize him, but I don't remember which rank he has. Oh, she's so tiny. We do not wait for anyone to be like, yes, I have a question. Are we gonna see some real hollows again? It's been a while since we bought a hollow. Oh, hello there. Oh, wow. Big one. It's gotta be that kind of a kind of a day, huh? Uh-oh. I got it. Careful what you wish for. It was not nothing. The music has changed. I know it wasn't nothing. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. I was worried about those two because I was like, I don't recognize you as being being around in the modern times, so Inamori should probably not stay there. Or is she gonna help? She's gonna help, isn't she? Wow, way to stay agile. Even with your sight obscured. Also, head injuries just like mess you up. Like you just kind of it disorients you when you get hit in the head. Nice. Teamwork. Didn't you get better at not exploding? Okay. Would not have been good if he had like caused an explosion when there's like four of them really close together. Are we gonna see Captain? Aizen maybe? Come to fight? Giant Hollow? Huh? Foreshadowing? Oh no! Are they all giant? They're all giant. Oh dear. The music's building up, so I'm like waiting for someone to show up. Oh wow. That was that looks like Gein's. The way that his sword like changes shape. Oh. So is Gein used to be Aizen's lieutenant? Interesting. Interesting. Oh. Ah. It's just slicing through all of them. We haven't seen Aizen fight. Whoa. How though? Is his like spirit pressure just that intense? Oh, are we back to present day? Ooh. Oh, um, that's a new ability. She's scary when she wants to be, huh? Oh. Oh, it looks like she's breaking out. Oh. I loved getting that, like, flashback. I remember in the comments last time there was the flashback with Arenji and Arukia. I had a conversation with someone that was about, like, what, like, if there was a spin-off that was, like, just the days at the academy, uh, would watch it 100%. Give me that slice of life school drama with like intense fight scenes with hollows every once in a while. Oh, it's so see there he is, the guy um that was in that episode. I knew I had seen him with like the other lieutenants and captains. I don't know what his rank is though. I think he's just a lieutenant. I'm sure I'll find out eventually. Maybe he's captain. I don't remember anymore. Oh dear. So yeah, I loved seeing the flashback. I think it's a great way of kind of mapping out the relationships between the different people, especially since like the more that I find out that like Arenji and like Kira knew each other and like um the different lieutenants how they knew each other. Like I didn't know like Shiro I think is the younger captain and Hinamori knew each other that well. I knew there was some kind of connection between them because Shiro was definitely like backing her up and protecting her, and I'm pretty sure he like threatened Gin that if like he did anything to harm her, like he would get in the way of that. So I knew that there was some kind of connection between those two, but to see that they were like, it looks like they were like part of the same like little family unit, because we saw before that a lot of souls in the Soul Society like don't find their actual family, so they like create these little like family units that they live with, and it looks like that's sort of what happened there. I know there's also like families that are like born within the Soul Society, but it looks like in the case of Hinamori and Shiro, it was like they kind of like adopted family in a lot of ways. So that's an interesting, like a closer connection than I thought. And the other really interesting thing is the fact that Gin was Aizen's lieutenant originally. That's really interesting because it puts a whole different framework on their relationship to each other. And they had this antagonistic kind of relationship where they were kind of suspicious of each other. They were kind of weaving around each other and stuff. But also, like, they probably knew each other really well, like, both from, like, a personal standpoint, but also, like, a power set standpoint, which isn't what I was expecting. So it's a cool revelation to kind of have that be what their relationship used to be compared to, like, what I saw once we were, like, in modern day with the show. And I'm not really sure what Gin and Kira are doing. We just saw them kind of walking, so it looks like Gin has taken Kira out of his like little timeout that he was on before, and he has some kind of plan or favor to ask of him. I'm not really sure what that will be, but I still stand by my thought that like Gin isn't actually the bad guy of the arc. Like, it seems too easy to do that, and Bleach just really isn't that kind of show where it's like what you see is what you get. And I'm not saying that just because Gin and Aizen used to be like partnered, that they wouldn't have any kind of antagonistic feelings towards each other, because people fall out all the time, and who knows what happened. Is it just that like Gin was promoted into a captain spot? Did something else happen? I don't know what happened from the transition of when he was a lieutenant to becoming a captain, what went down with that, and how, and like what he has done since becoming a captain that would make him and Aizen have any kind of friction between each other. So I'm not saying that like, you know, Gin couldn't have killed him because he used to be his lieutenant. But I don't think Gin would have done it. It seems really, like, especially considering how Aizen was killed and, like, how his body was, like, pinned up on that wall and stuff. It just seems really showy in a way that Gin isn't. I feel like if Gin could slip under everyone's notice about what he was doing, that's what he would do. Like, he is the most, like, out of the spotlight I think he can possibly be. Like, he's really doesn't operate in a way where he wants people to know that he's doing anything, from what I can sense of his character. So it doesn't seem to fit him. And I'm not saying he doesn't have something going on, because he probably does, especially with the way that he's being like Kira into it. But there has to be something else going on, especially seeing how powerful Aizen was in this, because we haven't seen him actually fight until this moment. And like, seeing how powerful he is, I like, maybe Gin is powerful enough to go up against him. Like, we've only seen him briefly use his power as it is now, and seeing him use his power as a lieutenant doesn't mean that that's like the cap of what his power is, because he's a captain now, so he's probably way stronger. Anyone who's able to take down Aizen would have to have some serious firepower behind them. But it looks like Hinamori is going to break out of her cell, and she seems to have some anger in her eyes that have turned kind of a purpley, and there was some weird thing that she did to the guard that made him like pass out or fall asleep or something. Interesting to see where that's gonna go. It looks like we're going back to Ichigo training in the next part, but it also looks like we're gonna see a little bit of what Hinamori is doing, because it looked like she was picking a fight with Shiro, which is probably not a good idea since he's like kind of a prodigy, but also like they're supposed to be friends. So yeah, I think the next episode is like gonna have a lot more than this flashback episode. I think this one was really like establishing relationships and like how well characters know each other before we get into kind of the like what I can only imagine is kind of a battle royale where people start to like take different sides of the issue and people start kind of going off on their own and doing what they want. Like we have like Hinamori going off on her own because she doesn't have a captain anymore. We have Renji who looks like he's going off on his own. We have whatever's going on with Gin, and I don't know if Kira will like help him and go along with him or if he'll like choose his own path because he seems to have very different perspectives and outlooks from Gin. It looks like everyone's kind of starting to branch off and like go after their own things. So I feel like this is like they used to be friends though. Let's remember that there was friendship before things sort of start to fall into chaos. But I don't have to wait. I can just go ahead and watch episode 47. So let's go and do that now. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm excited to see where all of this swirling confrontation, like, there's so much potential for, like, a bunch of fights to break out that I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of waiting for things to shift over the edge. I also really want to see Ichigo's Benkai. It'll be so good. And I still stand by my theory that it's gonna, like, unlock something else, like, something that not even Yoruichi knows anything about. It's gonna be, like, a whole different, I don't know, ability, power thing going on. With all that stuff with the Hollow Mask coming back and him being a shonen protagonist, I'm assuming there's something special about him beyond like just being really powerful. Okay. What are we doing, Hinamori? Woman on a mission. She's scary when she's angry. What are we doing? Where are we going? Tell me what's on it. Who is it? Who is it? Where are we at? Is she the lieutenant? Tiny Gin. I remember that they had a connection. Isn't she Shiro's lieutenant? Yeah. They're all gone. Mm. True. Wow. She's going after who killed Aizen. I agree, boy, you gotta use your head. You always do better in a fight when you use your head. What do you mean for sure? You're just picking the closest sword and hoping it works out. Ooh. Interesting. Didn't break this time. Oh. Does it have less to do with, like, the actual form and more to do with, like, his belief that he can win? Ooh. Oh. Yeah. Should definitely keep your eyes on the person who's trying to beat you up. Or kill him, I guess. Oh. So it didn't break because he's relying more on skill than just like his weapon being strong enough to withhold the with uphold itself from the attack. Urahara! It's been a long time. Oh no. It's nicely aged. These are questions I have too. Why is she being treated differently? Oh. Very impressive. What happened? Oh. First day. That's Kira's, right? Because Kira's the only one that didn't, like, bust out of his cell. Oh. It's probably gross. Uh-oh. Is she gonna go in too? She just likes messing with you. Aww. Oh, in cat form is better? Poor Ichigo. I also thought so. Aww. I love she's just messing with him. Mm-hmm. I would also like to know that. Oh, wow. But why isn't he there anymore? Oh, oh. Is it also expired? I mean, dig it up. Oh. Uh. Oh, we found them first. Who says he wanted it to be a secret? Yep. Well, that escalated quickly. But not quickly enough. Come again? Oh. Oh. Wow. So someone wants the weapon specifically. Wow. Doesn't seem doesn't seem like his character though. Like I don't know him super well, obviously, because he's only been briefly in episodes, but it doesn't seem to fit who he is that he would want that much power. So why would the letter say that? Either someone has fabricated it in order to get Hidamori to act in a certain way, or Aizen was lying. Handwriting can be fabricated, though. Oh, I agree. That's what I'm saying. See, that seems like something Gin would do. That he would, like, fabricate a letter so that someone else would do his dirty work for him. That seems like a Gin thing to go about doing. I'm still not sure that he killed Aizen, though. This might be a whole different. He's just taken advantage of the situation. Oof. Gotta pick your battle, hun. So then does it have nothing to do with the weapon used in the execution? Because it seems like a legitimate reason to, like, need someone to be executed, but I don't know what to believe in this letter anymore. That is true. Oh dear. Ugh. I don't know what to do with that information. Because, like, on the one hand, it makes sense that the reason someone would need, like, an execution to happen would be because this super powerful weapon gets unlocked when execution happens. But at the same time, I definitely don't think Toshiro killed Aizen. So if there's already lies in the letter, then maybe that isn't why, even if it makes sense. But also, who wrote it? Because it definitely seems like something that Gin would do. But also, like, but I don't think he killed Aizen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys are laughing at me because I'm like, I don't think he killed Aizen, and then like he just did, but I'm looking forward to this fight though, because I want to see what Gin is like really capable of. Ooh, and it looks like the lieutenants are getting involved. I don't know what to believe in what is in that letter, because if part of it's a lie, then all of it could be a lie, even if it does seem like it makes sense to me that someone would want that weapon specifically, if it is as powerful as it seems that it is, and it would make perfect sense that if you wanted to take that weapon that you would need an execution, and if someone conveniently broke a bunch of important laws, that you would make it so that that person would be executed, and then, you know, you'd be pulling all the strings in the background. The whole thing of, like, wanting to destroy the Soul Society, though, I'm like, maybe Gin is using Rukia's execution to get this weapon. Maybe he's pulling strings about it to get something that he wants. But I don't know if what he wants is to destroy the Soul Society. Like, if anything, I feel like he would want to be in charge of it. He doesn't seem like the kind of person that would want to destroy it, unless, like, there's some kind of constraint on him that he wants to get rid of for whatever reason. Like, I don't know what kind of laws dictate captains, and, like, what is limiting their ability, or like what they're allowed to do because of it. Still, like, maybe he'd want to destroy it for that reason. Maybe he's playing the strings about Rukia's execution. Maybe he wrote the letter and made it seem like Aizen said it so that he would get Toshiro and Hinamori to fight each other so that he wouldn't have to get involved. But I don't think he killed Aizen. I don't believe it. Like, why? Like, because it seems too showy, the way that Aizen was killed. 2, I don't know what he's supposed to gain from it, other than, like, maybe Aizen figured out what he was planning and therefore, like, needed people not to find out about it, but, like, I don't know if you would resort to, like, killing him necessarily, because no one was really, like, punishing him for any of the things that he was doing, so it seems like a weird leap to do it, because 3, everybody's suspecting that it's him. Like, literally the first thing that Hinamori did was suspect that it was Gin, and Toshiro suspects that it's Gin, so, like, why would he do something that showy that everyone was gonna start suspecting him of if, like, nobody had any proof that he was doing anything bad. Like, even if Aizen had figured it out, nobody was like, just because Aizen knew doesn't mean that, like, anyone was gonna punish him for it, right? Like, the only thing we have seen Gin receive any kind of punishment for is letting Ichigo and his friends go, and even that he didn't end up getting punished for. Like, he got away with that. So, like, why would he do something that would make all of these people suspect him and attack him? And, like why, if there was no suspicion about it before? So, it just doesn't seem... It doesn't make the logical sense that I feel like Gin would do. Like, I feel like Gin is a schemer and a planner, and because of that, I don't think he does anything rash. Like, I don't think he does anything purely out of emotion in the moment. He's not impulsive. I can't see a logical reason for why he would kill Aizen, which means that something else has to have happened. I think he's just taking advantage of it. Even if he did, like, and that's assuming that he did write the letter and that he is the person pulling the strings about Rukia's execution. Like, I don't even know that for sure. Just because he's a super suspicious person that always has this creepy smile and everyone's like, it's him, doesn't mean that, like, he's actually the one doing any of it. I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. I am excited to see Gin fully fight, because I was saying at the end of the last episode that I don't actually know what his power set is like, because the only time we've seen him sort of fight was briefly against Ichigo, and it wasn't much of a fight, and then in the flashback when he was still a lieutenant. So I want to see him fight as a captain, and then we have Toshiro, who I haven't seen fight at all yet, so I want to see what his powers are like, and I also want to see two captains battle it out. Like, I wanna see that. I think it'll be a really, really cool fight, especially if I get to see some Benkai, which I want to see some more of. I want to know, like, kind of what the limitations are, because just because I saw Mayuri's doesn't mean that, like, his is standard, right? Like, and I'm not saying that they're all gonna be, like, creepy caterpillar things, but, like, just because his manifest is, like, this huge creature doesn't mean that, like, everybody's does. And I did like that we got to get a little bit more backstory on Urahara. So we got to see him briefly, which is nice, but also, like, we got to, he used to be the captain of Squad 12, and he, like, founded the, like, development and research, which, like, isn't that what, like, Mayuri works in, which is a little creepy, but, like, maybe Mayuri, I'm assuming Mayuri made it creepy, whereas, like, Urahara probably was like, we should just, like, understand things better. And he added some nice comedic relief to the episode that was kind of intense. So it looks like a lot of emotions are kind of boiling over, and people are just as confused as I am. I love that, like, Hinamori, like, representing me in this episode where I'm like, I don't know who to trust anymore, I don't know what to believe, I'm overwhelmed with feelings. I think it's gonna be an interesting few episodes, at least, that we're coming up against. Ichigo's still training, still trying to figure out what's going on, starting to get better, but kind of still just being impulsive when it comes to his strategy. We'll see how that training goes too. And I hope you had fun watching along with me. If you did, you can like the video and you can subscribe if you aren't already. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!